It was good. Look, it was good.
Live from 770 Eastern Parkway, House of Prophecy. We are live here in Chabad of Crown Heights. We will be discussing the objects of hot and cold. We are instructed to leave Mitzrayim every day by observing the manner in which the Jewish people left the land of Mitzrayim. So we will better understand how to accomplish this mission. How do we leave Egypt every day? Every day we say one of the Sheish Chiras, the 6 remembrances we say every day, is I will leave Egypt. That's one of the things we say every day. Leave Egypt. Leave your exile. What does it mean to leave your exile? Leave your limitations. Every day you have to experience this, so we have to understand it. And we're going to understand this through hot and cold. I am Rabbi Peel from Chabad of Crown Heights, and we will start the class right now. Thank you, all those who want to log in. My YouTube channel is Roots for Life. That's my channel, and you can watch all my videos on that channel. Thank you very much for all those who are logging in right now. And we will start the class now. So, it says in this week's Parsha, this week's Parsha is Vayera. So we discussed previously that every single detail in the Torah is written for a reason, and it's internal and it's for all times. But it seems like over here in this week's Parsha, it's more like story time. It's more like what happened then. It doesn't seem applicable to us. The 10 plagues, all these things that happened when Moses took us out of Egypt. Moses came, all these things that Moses came, and then the burning bush, and he was a shepherd. Moses was a shepherd. So how is this for all eternity, for all time, and for all places? How is that even possible? So, in order to understand this, we have to understand this. So everything in the Torah is a lesson for life, right? Shlomo, everything in the Torah is a lesson? You want some chocolate malt? Parva? Coffee malt? This is not only true regarding the laws that are mentioned in the Torah, but also regarding with each every detail. This is what we mean when we say that the Torah is internal. Although it may seem that certain stories are connected to specific situations, specific things, specific ideas, they're all specific. Not be your life. You get a whole life. Don't give that to the kids. So, this is especially true regarding the stories regarding Yetzias Mitzrayim. So these lessons that we have when we left Egypt are the most inspirational lessons. People are always involved in these situations. And this is especially true. It is a mitzvah to remember every day that we left Egypt. Why is it a mitzvah? It says in Torah and Torah, the Alter Rebbe, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, explains that in addition to fulfilling this mitzvah on a basic level, we can fulfill it in a deeper spiritual level by breaking out of our personal Mitzrayim. So a person has boundaries. He's addicted to crack cocaine. He's addicted to vodka. He's addicted to crack, weed, whatever it is. He's addicted to going on dates. He's addicted to girls. He can't get out of his limitations. Or he's afraid. He's always afraid to learn. He's always afraid to get a job, let's say. He's always afraid to get out of his comfort zone. So Mitzrayim is like a comfort zone. It's your boundaries. This is your comfort zone, and you don't want to leave your comfort zone. You know, you're used to. You're born this way. You grew up this way. What? Want to move? Kind of move. So a person says, I'm used to waking up at this time. If you make him wake up even 5 minutes earlier, it's very hard, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm used to watching soap opera my whole life, I watch a soap opera. One day you tell me I'm not watching the soap opera. That's to me the hardest day of my life. If I'm used to running a 1 mile, and then one day I run a mile and even 1 more inch, that 1 inch is more painful than the entire mile that I ran. If I'm used to picking up 200 pounds of weights, and today I pick up 201, I'm going to strain my whole back. I'm going to strain every muscle in my body. Why? Because it's not natural for me. I'm limited. I limit myself to a certain... Put it in a cup. Chef. And by overcoming our limitations through Avos Hashem, through love of God, everything the Torah tells us regarding the original leaving of Egypt, Yetzias Mitzrayim, is a direct lesson on how to achieve the spiritual Yetzias Mitzrayim. The original, so we want to have this, and we go out. There was 40 gates. Every gate had an animal image on it. If you would go out of that gate, there would be a black magic that all the cats in the entire Egypt would start meow meow. And you'd hear a meow in the whole Egypt. If you go out the dog gate, all the dogs in the entire Egypt would bark, and then you would know a slave is escaping. So there was no way. They had the most advanced technology, cameras, bugs, woo! Like every time somebody would leave Egypt, there would be like all this. They had black magic that would make all these animals make noise, and every guard in the Egypt would be awakened. And they would rush to the gate, and the slave would be caught before he could even get 1 foot out of the gate. And then once he was out of the gate, it would take him. There'd be desert all around. Forget about how he's going to find his way. Even if he did get past it, but he's never going to get past it. And the Jews walked out broad daylight, walked out of Egypt, broke the pride of Egypt, broke their whole mitzias. They said Nazi Germany. What was their whole pride? That they're going to ethnic cleanse their country. There was a whole pride. Why did they start the war? Because they wanted to say to the Nazi first. Nobody else but the Nazi. Nobody else could exist in this country. Because their pride was only me. That is what pride of a country is in some instances. That's why in America we don't say the pride of America should be great again. We say may America be great. The people of America. What's America? All nations of the world. America is inclusive of all nations. That's the difference between America and any other country. Is America is made out of immigrants. You understand? Everybody legal in America. What?
Legal immigrants.
Legal immigrants. I'm saying everybody in America is different nationalities, different personalities. The Nazis didn't do that. They said, we are the only nation on earth, only German ancestry. People could have lived in Germany for 50,000 years. Didn't help. If they were not part of the German Aryan nation, they were not allowed it. So Egypt had their way of thinking, and God destroyed their whole pride in a good way. We now explain how the first 2 plagues, blood and frogs, relate to our avodah. So what can we do? What can we learn from the 10 plagues? We understand leaving Egypt. Yeah, we can leave our boundaries, but what's the 10 plagues got to do with me? That's what you would think, right? What does blood got to do with me? What does frogs got to do with me? You know. So now we're going to try to explain why the 10 plagues are very relevant in our daily lives. Hannah, why is it so important, the blood and frogs? Dam v'tzvardea. Bekinim? Tegedam svar. In the first plague, the water of the Nile was transformed into blood. The Nile River was in the Nile. Why? Why is it called the Nile River? Because Egypt believed that the Nile, they denied any other existence but the river. They believed the river was God. Why? There was no rain in Egypt. Everything was based on the river. The whole Egypt was built because it was next to the Nile River. The whole economy was built on the river. Like Dubai today is on the river. That's why it became a big city. They say most of the major cities were built on rivers. Yeah, you have a question?
No, I was going to say that the reason why it was also Nile was very, very great because Yaakov blessed the Nile River.
Yeah, I'm saying originally the reason why the Nile was so important in Egypt is because the infrastructure was completely dead without the river. And the way people would have plants and vegetables and all that is when the river would overflow, and they would irrigate from the river, and so they would pray to the river. The river gave everything for them. They gave them sustenance. They gave them food. They gave them water. They gave them everything basically. So by them it was denial river, not actual river, but a denial river, denial of God.
Oh well.
So what was God's first striking? To show that the Nile River is nothing but blood. He made the water turn into blood. You think it's so important? Chana. אנחנו בסרט עכשיו. מה רוצה? זה? זה לא בשביל ילדים. זה משקה. זה משקה. זה משקה שמה. זה חריף. זה לא צ'וקולד, זה חריף. תסתכל. חריף. זה קפה. קפה. זה לא צ'וקולד, קפה. רוצה סלסר? או לשבת או ללכת לישון. Water is cold by its natural state, right? And blood, on the other hand, is warm, right? Blood is warm, water is cold. They're two opposites. Hot, cold. We were just talking at the beginning about hot and cold, right? Says it? Orange juice? Give us some orange juice. Because holiness is associated with life. Coldness represents the opposite of holiness. When somebody says you're cold to Judaism, that means it's the opposite of connection.
Right.
Coldness is when you turn away. And the river is naturally a cold thing. But holiness is associated with life, blood, warmth. Warmth is blood. You say, my blood is boiling for you. The blood is flowing through my veins when I see her. You ever heard somebody say, my heart is pumping with blood because of my excitement? Or because of my love?
I was cold-blooded.
What?
I thought I was cold-blooded.
Okay, but some people have like a heart. I know it's hard to believe such things, but some people actually have this thing called a heart. Some of you ever heard of such a thing? So there's warm blood flowing through your veins, you know. And this is something very special. That all the human beings have such a beautiful thing. And so basically, help her. Take it slow. Don't rush. This teaches us, what does this teach us? That every step in a man's personal journey out of his own Mitzrayim is to be remove all traces of coldness. So if you want to leave your limitations, how are you going to do it? How are you going to get off drugs? How are you going to get a job? How are you going to do all these things that you're not naturally doing? How are you going to do it? By first of all, stop being cold. Get rid of that coldness. Stop being cold. Be warm. Mitzrayim is to remove all traces of coldness. That's how you get out. That he has towards holiness. Anything that he has against holiness, anything that he has against God, that's cold, he should become warmed. When he become warm, everything will change in his life. Warm towards God, warm towards Torah, warm towards others. When a person is cold, when he lacks emphasis and excitement for holiness, he's not motivated, he's not happy. He's like cold. He's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want to do it. I don't know. You know how people talk. You ever met somebody who talks like? What's your name again? First name?
Chana Yaakov or
Chaim Yaakov? Chana Yaakov.
Yeah.
So Chana Yaakov, what do you think about that? What's your opinion? How do you get out of coldness? How does a person get out of his coldness?
Well,
how do you become more warm? What's your opinion?
From what I understand, going by what I was read on I guess it was Rabbi Gordon. He says whenever you get depressed or you don't feel good, the best thing to do is read the Torah, and that will help you get out of depression. And he was right, because whenever I was depressed, I would always read a lot of the Torah and got out of my depression.
Yeah, Chanech. Chanech just said that. But you know what Chanech means?
Who?
Chanech. Your name is Chanech, right?
Chana, yeah. Passion?
You gotta have.
That's what I was told.
You gotta have passion. You gotta have strength. Okay.
That's right.
When a person is cold and he lacks emphasis, excitement, and holiness, it can lead to his involvement in all types of unholiness. What happens? Why do people go to clubs? Why do people go to bars? Why do people go to casinos? Because they feel a lack of emphasis. They feel a lack of joy in life, and they want to do something that will take away their emptiness inside, their coldness. So what do? They do all these things, like they smoke up, they take drugs, they go to places to waste money, they go to prostitutes, and all these things because they're trying to fill up that emptiness, that coldness,
And it doesn't help.
and it doesn't help. Shlomo, you ever heard of such things? Some people talk about these things. Ever heard of such things? You live
All the time. I hear about
This-
it all the time.
all the time. That's what I'm saying. How much get
All
for
the
the
time. Wow. Wow, those were the days. Those were the days.
So, it's described the plague. We described the plague of blood, right? But what about the other things? The Torah specifies that it occurred in the river. It wasn't just blood in everybody's cups. It was blood in the whole river. Everything died in the river. There are two types of coldness that a person can have. One is coldness towards worldly and material matters. That is a good kind of coldness. You have coldness towards bad things. That's not a bad coldness. That's a good coldness. Sashtiya? One is cold towards worldly and material things. It's not a bad thing. The second coldness is towards holiness. So a person's like, if somebody pushes away bad things, that's okay. That's spring, which symbolizes unholy coldness. The Nile River, where did it come from? Below. It was a river. It came from underground. And it represents unholy coldness. Furthermore, it's not from above, it's from below. So that's like the below coldness. Furthermore, the Nile represents Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah is idol worshipping. The people worship the Nile. Therefore, the first step in shattering the pride of Mitzrayim to remove the coldness was to take the cold waters of the Nile and reform it into blood. Was to turn it into something warm. To take away their coldness. And this was a sign. It wasn't just a physical sign. The Torah was trying to show us a spiritual thing as well. And he was trying to teach the Egyptians something. Which is, don't be cold from below. Don't be cold towards God. Don't be cold to above. Don't be the cold towards getting a job. Don't be cold towards getting good things in your life. Don't be cold towards getting a wife. Don't say, I can't be bothered to get a wife. I can't be bothered to go to college. I can't be bothered. Be strong. Any questions? Questions? 5-minute ADD moment. Let's go. ADD. Moment. Yalev, let's do an ADD moment.
I wasn't an ADD moment, 50 seconds, and then I simply just trying to relax. There's a 3 full Chaim Kananahar.
Yeah. One in the museum, one in
535 is a 335.
One at free.
Yeah, one at free, one at Best Lady Yitzchak.
I know all of them.
And one at 535.
Not only was this coldness removed, but it was transferred into blood. Blood symbolizes warmth, life, and excitement for holiness. The Torah states that this transforming occurred not only in the Nile itself, but also in all the waters of the Nile that were found elsewhere, including on dry land. Why was it necessary for the Torah to add this detail on dry land, right? Why couldn't it just say there was in the Nile? Why does it have to say, including on dry land, that there was blood? The answer is because dry land is even less to holy transformation than cold water. Moisture helps connect two different substances together, and the ability to connect things is something that is holy. And this moisture doesn't let you connect. This moisture makes everything slippery. There's no glue. There's no contraction. There's no togetherness. Everything is far apart. The moisture is what separates you. You're like, oh, slipped apart. So on land, the moisture could be even worse than the cold water. It can make you completely detached from the world, from people, from others. So that's why the Torah has to say it. The Torah mentions dry land to teach us that even in a place that is deprived of all elements of holiness, moisture, the transformation into holiness, excitement, blood was able to occur. So there was blood even on dry land. There was blood. There was blood even on dry land. Why? Because moisture of coldness is when somebody comes right up to you and tries to shake your hand and your hand slips away. You slip away.
It's called a fish shake.
Yeah.
It's called a fish shake.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's for the fish shake?
said it was blood
Open.
on the land. I thought it was only in the on
It says
land.
the river was full of blood, as well as on land. If you had a cup of water, it was
Wow.
blood.
Rocks
Yeah,
inside and
right.
outside of wood and everything.
From what
So
I understand,
every-
they used to dig. They dig underneath the ground. They got regular
Even
water.
even on the ground, even on earth, all the water became blood.
Yeah, I know, but let me see. Let me get things straight.
They tried to
If they
dig, and it was
wanted
still blood.
water,
It was
no,
still blood.
no.
The only way they got water was if they bought from a Jew. A Jew would have water.
I'll show you later on. Let me
I
see
know.
it here.
That's one opinion.
Yeah, that's one
opinion.
way. But it's also that's how the Egyptians, magicians turned the water into blood because they dug underneath the
But
ground.
there's an
got
opinion that
regular
says
water.
that they had to buy that from the Jews. The Jews had the water.
Oh, I guess they're different opinions. I don't. That I can't argue.
But the point is that even all the water on land became blood. Maybe they had to dig, but all the water on land. It says that the water became blood as well as the water on land. That's what it says.
Well, I know once if they got water from a Jew without paying, I know it turned into blood. I'm missing what I read over here today.
Okay.
That if they dug underneath the ground and got water out, it would turn to blood.
What I understood from the Torah portion is
Yeah, I don't know.
the verse
so many
says
different,
says that there was blood upon the water of the Nile as well as upon dry land. It says. That's what the verse says.
Of this, yeah,
Now you could explain it in different
Yeah.
ways, but